Hey there, sheepdoggers. Oh, it doesn't like this game at all, does it? No, sir, it doesn't like this game. Well, let's see if it sorts itself out, I guess. Let's just bring this music down a little bit and the rest of everything down. There we go. Hey there, sheepdoggers, and welcome to Ultimate Fishing Simulator. I'm really tired, but I can't sleep because my anxiety's acting up, so I'm filled with adrenaline, and yet at the same time, absolutely bashed. I actually legitimately don't know what time it is. I could look, but it seems silly. Okay, that's fine. I guess we go to inventory. Ah, okay. For money, you can buy better equipment. The ability to use equipment is limited by the player's level and experience. Remember that equipment such as baits or hooks. I don't know why I'm playing this. It got sent to me. And the guys who sent it to me were like, I think. Yeah, no, it got sent to... I'm pretty sure it got sent to me. And they were like, yo, what up? Play this game. I was like, alright, cool. And I figured I'd play it at some point. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I figured I'd play it at some point, and now is that point, because I'm... Oh, that's kind of cool. Look, they move. I can go into 3D view. I can spin them, zoom. Zoom to there. That eye's creepy. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to play this. It could be years. To enter a fishery, you'll need to purchase the appropriate license each time. The exception is Betty Lake, which can be entered for free. Okay. Oh, fuck it, let's go to Betty Lake then, yeah. Yeah, so... this will just be me, kind of, you know... just chilling. And we'll maybe do some fishing and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any particular thing I'm going to be talking about, or... oh, I'm going to be talking about the game, probably. We'll just chill with it and see how it goes. Oh. You can move around, okay. I'll have to learn the game a little bit, obviously, but, yeah. Described in the lower left, okay, I see that. On the far right of the screen, information about what take time, watch the area, then go close to the water. Oh, yeah, can you see that? Like, either my computer doesn't like it. I've been having some problems with OBS lately, actually. We'll try not to move too quickly. I could try and fix it, but honestly, I wouldn't know where to start. But yeah, look at that. It's moving a lot better in the game. Let's see if maybe, like... I don't know, what did it... is there some... let's maybe take the full screen off. Does it like that any better? Okay, the FPS went up a little bit there. How's it like this? No. It's so weird, because the game's not that bad on my screen. But, alright. Okay. L is flashlight. Oh. Hello, sunshine. Inventory. Okay, cool. I guess we'll just go to the water. So yeah, guys, I apologize about this little screen tearing. Hopefully it doesn't hurt your head too much or anything. The simplest way to throw is to precise cast. Choose the spot and look at it. Looking at the ground may cause that lure will hit the ground. Precise cast, okay. Did I cast? Oh, I did. You can reel the line by pressing left mouse and grow it by pressing space. Reeling is shown in the right corner, changed by using the RNF key. Okay, so reel speed, yeah. You can also break your line by pressing Q. Now reel whole line. Oh, forecasting can be done by pressing and holding LMB. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a bar showing your actual caster rod, and wait for some monster fish. Oh hell yeah, it's a beast of a throw, Sheepdew. It's a beast of a throw. Just tease the line. Tease the line. I just got done watching. Well, not just got done. It was a while back. But I was watching. If you guys know Brad Woto, he's been playing Total War Warhammer. Oh, do we have something here? No, maybe not. Just twitch it, maybe. Twitchy, twitchy, twitchy. Yeah, Brad's been playing Total War Warhammer 2. It's one of those things where, like, I like the game, and I like the dude. Like, Brad's an awesome dude. And it's so much fun to see someone fall in obsession with a game that you yourself are obsessed with. Like, it can be difficult, because, you know, learning a game is not easy, especially when you're learning it in front of loads of people you've got to talk to, and I don't know, am I supposed to be baiting this? Am I just supposed to be reading it in and hoping that something, like, am I hoping it catches on a fish? Maybe. Okay, cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching Brad play it, because it's like, it's a game I really like, and then added onto that, it's someone I think is, you know, someone I like, someone I think is cool, and watching him play is really fun. It is a little bit difficult. Throw bait. Do I have bait? Soft bait? Okay. I guess we just throw it out again. Whee! Sploosh! Mouse wheel drag. Oh, okay. Because it's difficult, as I said, it's difficult to learn something, especially live, but even in videos, it's hard to learn something when you're, like, talking and, you know, trying to do stuff. So obviously, you know, like, he's missing out on things that, for me, you know, because I've played the game, I've learned it already, like, looking at someone learning the game, obviously, I'm like, oh, you got to do this, and you got to do that, but, you know, unless you're a really serious, you know, unless you're a really serious person, let's say, most people don't play a game and instantly learn it, you know, all of the things. It can take time to understand the intricacies, and, you know, when you're, like, let's put it this way, for those of you who don't, or haven't tried learning a game while doing a video or live streaming, just get a friend to sit there and make you talk to them while you're playing a game. Do that, and you'll have a little bit of an idea of what it's like. It can be a pain in the ass, but yeah, basic info to put out there is it's cool. You know, I really enjoyed it. I would have recorded more today, but he got a case of the just one more turnsies, and ended up playing for like an extra hour and a. When fish will catch bait, you need to make a strike. You can't do that too early or too late, because press right mouse button. Okay. When you strike, battle begin. Your goal is to fatigue the fish and tow it as close as possible to pull out from water. Strength, okay. Line tension is signaled in the right bar. If it reaches maximum value, the line will break. Equipment strength is influenced by... Okay. Fish fatigue and tension can be adjusted by reel work, pulling or loosening the line. Work with the reel drag, moving the rod, pumping. Okay. Where's the right bar? Come on. Am I doing it? I don't know what the right bar is. Oh. Maybe it's the line tension? It must be the line tension. There we go. So we'll keep it in that sweet spot. Okay, maybe let it out a bit. And then keep it coming towards us. Come on, fishy, fishy. Come on. But yeah, it might give you an idea. Let's pull it in some. Oh, no. Let it out a bit. Is that right? No, maybe not. There we go. Oh god, I almost let it go too high. Wouldn't want that. The fish would get away. And then, what would we do? Is it something about, Okay, I don't know what that means, but... We got it. It's coming. It's coming. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. So yeah, I don't know. I just figured this fishing game would be a little bit of fun. Just in general, you know. Oh god, we got the fish coming this way. Hey little fishy, come to me. Hey little fishy. Watch this be like a tiny minnow or something. That's my prediction. Oh, that's a cutthroat trout. It's the most dangerous of trouts. Caught fish can be released or picked. Depending on the decision, you'll receive the right amount of money and experience. If it is your first fish, or biggest fish of each species, it will also appear as a trophy in the trophy room. With the right skill, you can also fillet the fish. Hey, buddy. So it's 0.51 kilograms, 0.2... Ah, he splashed me. I guess we'll release it. There are different fishing methods. You can read about them in the help menu. Tips about best techniques and baits for each species can be found in the encyclopedia and inventory. Alright. Oh no, I don't want to. Sorry, I'm gonna bring this straight back. Okay. Off we go. The worst part of one of the worst parts of the like having the anxiety and the, you know, the restlessness, like not being able to sleep and all that kind of stuff, is like you get really hypersensitive. So not only are you kind of like tired and kind of, yeah, very irritable, and obviously you've got the problems with obviously you've got the problems with oh, is that, did I, oh yeah, there we go. Oh no, fish escape, no strike. I couldn't remember how to strike, not gonna lie. So yeah, you've got the problems with you know, yeah, like proper full on anxiety, panic attacks. You know, those are never fun when they happen. Uh, one of the best ways to describe it is a feeling that literally everything is wrong. In, you know, like, imagine if you were suddenly dumped into a world that you could just tell nothing's right. You know, it was all. You could just instantly tell that things were wrong in the world. You know, like physics didn't work the way you thought it did. You know, all that kind of shit. That's like the that's basically what the anxiety is like. You know, it's just kind of this. Very often I'll get a feeling where, I guess we're talking about anxiety today, because that's kind of the thing on my mind today. Because obviously, you know, can't sleep, anxiety. Um, it's kind of like, it's a good video to talk about anxiety, actually, just purely because, well, you know, it's a fishing thing, just fishing. Fuck, I didn't mean to do that. Well, that'll do. So yeah, like, for those of you who don't know about anxiety, I actually got an email. I'll carry on my thought in a moment if I remember what it was. I got an email. I got a message from one of my kind of, let's say, long-time viewers. He's been with me for quite a while. I won't say names or anything like that, but he said he recently had some issues with anxiety, and he could kind of appreciate my perspective a little bit more on this. And it's very true. Like, you know, people who haven't experienced like the rough side of anxiety, it's so amazing it's so amazing quite how messed up it can make you. You know, it's ridiculous how much it can affect your life. I remember talking to this is a different person, of course, but in real life, one of my friends' friends had been dealing with anxiety, and he didn't have it for very long, but it was bad. I mean, like legitimately debilitating, fuck up your life bad. You know, like, my anxiety is bad, but I've learned to deal with it. So it's you know, like, it, mine is quite acute and quite rough, so even though I kind of do know how to deal with it, at the same time, like, you know, it'll hit me, and it'll hit me hard. And, you know, in the moment, I in the moment I'll be like, oh, this sucks, you know, I don't want this, I'd do anything to get out of it, all that kind of shit. But you know, once the moment's passed and I manage to get back on top of it, sometimes I don't manage to get back on top of it, but when I do manage to get back on top of it, which is most of the time nowadays, it very much is, you know, kind of like I dust myself off. I go, right, well, that's that, done, and I just kind of carry on, you know. Wow, am I doing this wrong? I might very well be doing this wrong. I also just got a comment, and it's oh, that's quite far. That might do well. We might just like tease it like that a little bit. Just like, yeah. I also can't see my give me a sec here. Okay, it doesn't cancel out. Is there a way to? Probably this will be the best way. Yeah, there we go. Thank you for that. Okay. I just had a YouTube comment pop up. Couldn't get rid of it. See, fuck, what was I talking about? It was. I know we were talking about anxiety, but something. Oh yeah. So me personally. Oh. Here we go. Okay, so let's play the line. Let's let him try and bring him close towards us as we can, but not get too line tensiony. All right. So yeah, so when I say, you know, he had debilitating, you know, it came out of nowhere. It was really extreme. It was really strong for this guy, and he just had like, oh shit, well, I fucked that up. That's my fault. And he couldn't, you know, it's for me it was fairly gradual, and it did increase with time, but you know, not knowing what it was probably the worst, because I kept experiencing, like, you know, pounding heart, pins and needles all over my body, you know, sweating, palpitations, the feeling of like impending doom, the feeling of kind of like something's out for me and I don't know what it is and I can't get away from it, like all these kind of things. And that freaked me out, and you know, for that to suddenly did I? No, maybe not. Okay, I thought maybe there was a bite there, but doesn't. It may be a nibble. And for that to just suddenly come on like really extreme, I won't kind of give away too much of his own personal story, because it's not mine to give away. Let's just say, like, you know, to the point of stuff you wouldn't want to talk about, let's say. I don't know how to explain is that a fish? Does that look like a fish? I think a fish just jumped up to catch a fly or something. Alright. Yeah, to the point of, you know, him like being able to share that stuff is very important, especially if you can find someone who has been through similar things. It's great, because, you know, you stop feeling like you're the only person in the world who kind of, you know, especially with family and friends, like, as much as they try and understand it, to a certain extent they can't if they haven't experienced it. Same with everyone else. You know, and it's you know, I'm not gonna go out saying it's the worst thing in the world, but you know, it does have some very extreme problems, I'd say. I'm just gonna leave it here for a little bit, while I talk about this, and just see if we get a bite. You know, just sitting there. Probably not. I think it's like gone to ground, as it were. But yeah. So, you know, there's like there's issues of I've heard of people you know, having such an extreme panic attack that they pass out, and I've passed out a couple of times myself, like hyperventilating because you think you're not getting enough oxygen. I mean, the main problem with it, of course, is that it feeds on your fears. So if you have a fear of, you know, if you have kind of agoraphobia, then just going outside, you know, it feels like you're dying just to go outside. Therefore, the thing you do is you train yourself to avoid anything that triggers your anxiety. So, you know, if you get anxious going outside where there are people, the anxiety will prevent you from going outside. You know, if you get nervous at work, suddenly you're hyperventilating and feeling like working is killing you. If you are scared of driving, of trains, of any of these things, very very common for people with anxiety to have panic attacks while driving and things like that. Something about it is just fear inducing. I think part of it for me is the feeling like I can't escape, and that's very common. The feeling of not being able to escape makes you panic because you're like, what if I have a panic attack? What if I'm in this airplane and I have a panic attack and I just can't get off the plane, but I'll want to get off the plane, and it's actually fear of fear that makes you. I don't think this is working. It's actually fear of fear that makes you, panic, and then you have a panic attack about having a panic attack. And it's anything that's the the catalyst to it. I have to go off my own experiences. I've heard so many other people's stories, just purely because it's something I'm quite open about now, and I don't mind talking about. And I've met a lot of other people who are still dealing with it and coming to terms with it. So, or it's not that bad, and it's just something they need to focus on now to get over it. That's very common. People will have anxiety, quite often stress anxiety, or anything like that. Losing a loved one can often do it. Anything along those lines. So I've spoken to a lot of people because I've learned a lot of tips and tricks to deal with it in the moment and in general. And I don't deal with it brilliantly. Let me just put that out there right now. I don't. A lot of people who have anxiety will very often turn to sleeping pills for the sleep. They'll turn to alcohol to get through the day. And I've never gone that way, because I always knew that was alcohol dependency is a very real problem for people with anxiety. But I do avoid certain situations. Avoidance is it's great for dealing, but it's going to limit your life. And one really interesting thing, I realised that we haven't gone back to talking about the stuff I was talking about before, but I get sidetracked. I'm really tired, guys. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh crap! This guy's strong as balls. Come on. So. Oh god, let's play him off a little bit. So yeah, there's one thing that someone said that really it really stuck with me, I guess, which is that anxiety is it's not going to destroy you. Well, I mean, it can. Don't get me wrong, it can very much destroy you. Let's play it out a little bit. It can very much destroy you, and it can be very nasty for some people, and has been nasty for me myself. It led and still leads to me not doing things I want to do, and all this kind of thing. But it's not really the fact that it kind of, it takes you out quickly or anything like that. It's a long play. It goes on for years sometimes, and it can be really debilitating. It's the fact that, some things, for example, whatever it is, they can take years off the end of your life, so you feel like you're not getting as many years as you want. There are ones that can. There are things that can kind of affect you in your day-to-day life, where it's kind of like, I don't know, let's go with diabetes or something. And I don't want to seem insensitive here, just preface. So I'm just trying to think of vague vague things. Like, there's the fishy right there. I'm just trying to think of things that would be a decent examples. Like, for example, diabetes. You have to take insulin. You have to kind of watch what you eat and all these kind of things. The thing about anxiety that's really nice is it robs every single second of every day. That looks like it's exactly the same. Sure, we'll sell it because we released the last one. So yeah, what anxiety does is it taints. Taint is a great word. It corrupts and taints your life every second of every day, you know, and it slowly takes away your enjoyment of everything. Like, I love making YouTube videos. It's one of I couldn't see myself doing something else. But my anxiety has affected my channel, you know, like when I'm doing bad, when I'm doing badly, when my anxiety is high and, you know, kind of roughing me up a little bit, I will very much lose my enthusiasm. I'll be less entertaining, and I can see the difference it makes in you know, I'm much more negative. Oh, fucking go on. I think I got him. Come on, there you go. Yeah, come on. So yeah, I can see the difference it makes in my life, and especially with my work, with my YouTube. You know, I'm supposed to be entertaining, and sometimes I can sit there and watch myself and just be like, there is a reason why you lose viewers, and there is a reason why. I'm not going to put all the blame on my anxiety. You know, it is also me. But when my videos are doing worse, and when I'm kind of, you know, I'm not retaining people, I'm not like catching people's attention the same way or anything like that, I can say, you know, like I can see that happening when my anxieties are really, you know, at a really nasty point, and it does kill my ability to be entertaining. Well, these are all exactly the same. They're all 51 kilograms. Although this one's a little bigger, I think. Let's release it for 2xp. And just have a quick look here, I guess. Where do we... where do we... Encyclopedia, okay. So, it's the Greater Amberjack. Brook trout. Okay. So we've got a brown trout. Feeds mainly on smaller fish. Alright. How do we see what's here though? Help? Near throw, far throw, reel, strike. Okay. Fish fatigue and equipment tension. Now fatigue the fish to pull it out. R and F. Okay. Read about them in the help menu. Boat. Okay. So where's my character? In my inventory? Level 1, 5,003 money. So we're using this. Okay, here we go. Rainbow trout, brook trout. Alright. So we've got this as well. Can we equip this? Or oh, we don't have it. Okay. Yeah, we'll buy it and equip it. Okay, there we go. We can't get any bait or anything, it doesn't look like. Crankbait? Striped bass. Rainbow. I'd like to catch a ooh, yeah, maybe this one. Okay, let's buy that. And equip. Oh, okay. Well, let's try this and see how it goes, I guess. I don't know if I need to... Oh god, I've lost my hook. I think it's stuck in my ear. Oh lord. There you go. A little bit of silliness for you guys. And yeah, like, as you can tell, I'm not really in the hilarious, entertaining space currently. Like, my concentration is a bit shitty, you know, and obviously I'm going to get sidetracked, and I may not finish my thoughts and my sentences, and I do apologise for that. For those of you it annoys, which I know there are a fair number of people who are like, I hate it when you start a sentence and then you get distracted and then you just carry on. I want to know the... Okay. Oh god, I almost let that break. So, yeah, I mean... It's, it's rough. And I'll give you some good examples of... Let's, what was that? I'll give you some good examples. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what the best way to deal with this fish would be. Some good examples of anxiety for me. Let's have a think. What are times, you know, when... oh yeah, so I did the Factorio stream and recording with Peachy and Bentham. We did about 4 hours. And I was feeling a little bit off, and I wasn't feeling very comfortable. So I ended up in this really weird slouched position that, like, basically, after about 4 hours of just being sat in this really crappy slouched position, I was like, I got up and I kind of, you know, I made some food, and then I sat down in bed, and I had a really bad pain on the inside of my third knuckle. So think left hand, you've got your little finger knuckle, and then you've got your ring finger knuckle and your middle finger knuckle, and it was right in between those two, and it was this really, really bad pain. And it was on my... I was also feeling very kind of like sharp stabbing pains in my elbow and in my shoulder and that kind of thing. And 9 times out of 10, any normal regular person with that kind of pain and that kind of problem would think to themselves, okay, this is because I sat weird, you know, there's no problem there. It's just a little bit painful. It's just a little bit awkward, I guess. My brain immediately went to heart attack, because, you know, arm pain and this kind of thing, and all you know, all these kind of things. You know, you hear medical horror stories about blocked veins and all this kind of shit. You know, like, what if I moved my arm and my vein got caught in between a bone and just severed, and, you know, and then just blood pouring out inside my body, and there's nothing anyone can do, I'm going to die. Like, all of this shit comes into your head with the anxiety, you know, with this kind of like... And it was something new. It's not something that I've experienced on a regular basis, you know, things like pins and needles in my face, just the general feeling of something being wrong, you know, I can deal with that stuff. When it's something new... Ooh, got a freaking bull trout, boys! Look at that shit. Hey, buddy! I guess I'll sell him, just purely because he's my first one. You're my first. Yeah, you know, so, like, that kind of stuff. And it's something, you know, it's something you can laugh at yourself for later. But at the time, it's genuinely freaking terrifying. And I can't exactly explain to you why. You know, not really. Because, you know, really, it's... You got a lot of, you've got a lot of things that are, oh shit, let's Sorry, let's play that out a little bit. You've got a lot of things, you know, that you can worry about and this kind of thing. There's not much you can do about them. And for those of you who've watched me a fair amount, you know, have a decent idea of who I am and what I'm like, I'm a pretty chill person. You know, I'm not... You know, I can have fun and I can be silly and all this kind of thing. But I'm not going to be, like... I don't tend to be one of those people who's, like, you know, worked up over, you know, something someone said. If someone calls me a dickhead, I'm like, nah, sure, whatever. But this, well, I'm doing badly on this one, I really am. But, like, when the anxiety's there, you know, I'm completely different. Like, it changes you. When your anxiety's really there, it can really change you. And for me, one of the ways it kind of, you know, affects me is, and I think a lot of people, is it makes it's all about the what if, you know. So you can for those of you without anxiety, for those of you who don't have this problem, I'm sure it's not an issue for you when you have like some kind of weird feeling or pain in your body. You mostly you might get a little worried, you might, but it doesn't end your day. What it is for me is the what if. You know, I'm sure this is just because I was sitting bad, but what if this time it isn't? What if this time it's something serious and I'm dying and I've got, you know, 10 minutes to live, or, you know, or I'm just dying right now? What if, you know, suddenly my heart stops? Just stops. Done. And that kind of like unknown terror, you know, there's no way to prove it except for to go to the hospital, to the emergency room, to get in there and go like, there's something wrong with me. And then after an hour or two of waiting and wasting everyone's time, they go, no, there's not. But what if this time it's different? And that's the entire basis behind it. That's the entire basis behind pretty much all anxiety and panic attacks. The panic attacks are slightly different because they come on and it's out of nowhere and it's hyperventilating and it's rush of adrenaline and it's shitty and it's crappy and it sucks. You know, like if someone said to me, you can keep the anxiety, you can keep the panic attacks, but you'll lose the anxiety, the every day-to-day feeling like everything's wrong and, you know, like, just all that kind of stuff, I'd take it in a heartbeat. If they were like, yep, you know, you'll have panic attacks for the rest of your life, but you won't have anxiety, I'd be like, sign me the fuck up. I'm taking that deal. Ooh, damn, another one. Or at least this guy for a little bit of XP. I think we want to level up anyway, really. Just purely because, like, the panic attacks, yeah, they suck. Yeah, you know, it's a this very strong feeling that you're gonna die and that you're having a heart attack or something. Heart attack's a very common one. That's, if you don't know what's going on when you have anxiety, or when you have a panic attack, that's the first thing that pops into your head, and it's generally what fuels the panic attack. You know, until you know what's going on and what's wrong, I'd say that's a very common one. And oh, there we go. Here we are. Got another one. We should probably go somewhere else and try something else as well. Let's just reel that off. Oh god, reel that off a little bit. Look at me talking like I know what's going on. I just basically hold down left click, let go left click if it goes too high, and occasionally move the mouse wheel. I don't know if it does anything, but I move it nonetheless. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, you know, it's one of those things. Like the panic attacks are really nasty, especially if you're driving. You know, like when I was a bouncer years and years ago, I had to quit because of my anxiety. Weirdly enough, when I was a bouncer and I was I was doing these things, you know, my first proper full-on panic attack that really freaked me out was, what was it? It was yeah. I was driving home. It's about a 40-minute, 30 to 40-minute trip. Driving home at I think about 5 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning. I think it was a fairly quiet shift, and we got to leave early because everyone had gone home. Like all the drunkies had buggered off. I was working on as security on a taxi rank at the time, and I had this massive panic attack coming back from work on a main road, like a motorway, at about 4 in the morning, and I ended up on the side of the road, you know, like literally on my hands and knees, hyperventilating, sure that I was having a heart attack because my heart was pumping. You know, I had pins and needles all over my face, and I had no idea what it was. You know, I fairly quickly, I'd say fairly quickly figured out that it was a panic attack. You know, after a while, of course, I had to call my parents actually, and they came out to get me because I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck on the side of the road. And they took me into the ER to figure out what's wrong with me. You know, they took a look at me. They was like, yeah, there's nothing physically wrong with you. And then a little while later, we figured out it was anxiety. And even later than that, it was anxiety as a byproduct of hypothyroidism, which is, fun. It's all chemical. It's an interesting time. But yeah, it freaked me the fuck out. Like, so anyone experiencing that to begin with is so we're just catching bull trouts. Okay, let's release it again. How's our level? It doesn't really. Got a spoon, maybe a spinner. Brook trout, bull trout, cutthroat trout. This might be good. Maybe just buy one of these and equip them. See if we catch something different this time, maybe. Okay. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Let's just paint those trees in the distance. We might want to change the rod and the line. Okay, after we reel this one in, maybe. We'll do like 2 more. And if we don't catch a fish, we'll move somewhere else for a bit and try a little fishing somewhere else. So yeah, it was confusing, it was scary, it sucked, like all these things, and it was really debilitating. Actually, and the reason I started doing YouTube was because I was stuck at home with my parents, unable to really go out. Like, I could drive a 5-minute trip to the shops and back in my car. I'd say 5 minutes, probably like 5 to 10 minute trip there and back. Would usually end up with me getting out of the car because of panic attacks 3 times. Sometimes I get away with 1, even 0 occasionally. But yeah, most of the time it would be most of the time it would be probably 2 or 3 times. I'd have to get out the car to or at least stop the car to have an anxiety, a panic attack. And it's the reason I started YouTube, because I was stuck at home so much. Like, I love my parents. They really helped me out with that, with my anxiety and with everything. They're very understanding. But it's stressful for everyone involved. When you're that closely involved with someone with anxiety, it gets rough for everyone, really. They want to understand it, but they can't really, and that leads to misunderstandings and confusion and hurt feelings and frustration, and then the frustration pours out, and you end up taking it out on each other and arguing. It's all rough, really. So that stuff is if you have anxiety and that kind of thing, or you have a friend or son or daughter or whoever with anxiety, just be aware of that. Like, it's not uncommon, and I'd say it's I'd pretty much expect it in general. Let's just have a... Oh, that was terrible. Is there a way to reset? There we go. Yeah, that was a terrible throw. Let's do one more. So yeah, you know, there you go. And I was doing some Arma videos. Like, I was playing with a group of friends, and we were having great fun playing Arma. I just decided to do a few Arma videos, and they did okay, and I was like, well, this is kind of fun, just, you know, playing a game, and people watch it, and like, it felt really good to do something useful. You know, even while I was just at home, you know, not being able to do anything or get out or anything like that. Holy fuck, 50 minutes? Really? Jesus, okay. That's how long, apparently we've been going for 50 minutes. I did not realise that. So yeah, you know, I'd just be like, yeah, fuck it. I'll do a few more videos, and some of my early videos were me kind of testing waters, you know, seeing how people responded. And mostly people were very positive about my stuff, you know? And I figured, like, I can't work, you know? When you have anxiety, panic attacks, and this is like an everyday occurrence, it's hard to get outside, and, you know, all these things, like, added together, it means, like, I can't even hold down a part-time job. Like, even now, even I'd say I've dipped a little bit the last year or two, for reasons which I have been into before. Basically, a change in... how do we switch places? Does that just close the game? Okay, no. So let's try somewhere else. Betty Lake. Panama's South Pacific coast. 200 deep sea fishing world records. Fish species, Dorado, Great Tem. Okay, so well, let's just... Okay, so there's a lot of trout in there. Well, okay, there's only 2. Alright, that's fine. So Dorado, Amberjack, Rainbow Runner. So yeah, you know, I figured, like, even if I fail at YouTube, at least I gave something a shot. Like, you know, by this point, I'd pretty much been out of work for a couple of years. You know, there were gaps in my resume. You know, repeatedly I tried to find a job, and it just didn't go well at best, I'd say. So, Greater Amberjack. Yeah, this looks like the one to go for then. Let's equip. So we're using this one. Why don't we just buy and use this one? Seems like the best. Casting reel, standard. I guess, yeah, okay. Get this as well. Yep. Have nothing for those, okay. Baits. You can't use natural baits with artificial baits, okay. So maybe like a hook. You can't use hooks without a float. Okay. Maybe a let's buy it, okay. And a hook. Sure. Crankbait, spoon, baits, Greater Amberjack, Dorado, no, not that, okay, so buy red worms, okay, boilie, what's that, don't know what the boilie is, may as well buy a fishing net, float weight, sure. Ice rods. I guess they don't have ice in the thing. So I guess if we go to here... No? We can't... Is there no way to just equip this? Can't use artificial baits with float. Okay, so we take this out. and then we equip the float. When using a float, you have to remember about setting the proper weight according to float's parameters. First, you have to buy float weights in other tabs. After that, you can set the proper weight and line length. Proper weight is very important because it affects float's physics and makes it easier to see when fish take the bait. Float line length. Float weight. Okay. Yep, I got it. Okay. Oh. Okay. This won't go away now. Go, please. Oh, God. Crap. Maybe if we exit, no. It's just gonna be with us forever. Okay, let's deal with this very quickly. You're gonna see a black screen, guys. Sorry about that. So yeah, I mean, it's... and like... It's one of those things where, and I'm sure it's very true for a lot of things, but it doesn't get better by fighting it, which is really upsetting. And you know, like, if you say to yourself, like, I just got to get through this one, you know, it really does sap your strength and your will, you know, because you're like, I just got to get through this one, and then it'll be fine. It's great. Let's just play with this and see how it goes with the stuff we've got. We've got to hook up some of the fishing line stuff, like the bait and everything, but we'll see how we do. So yeah, you know, it's that's alright. We'll get the hook in. So we'll equip that hook, and then the bait. We'll equip the worms. There we go. Where's the weights? I thought there were... Wait, is it? Oh yeah. So that's the only float weight we have. I guess. Alright. So we'll oh god, it's actually clipping into us. Wow, do we have we put on a whole, we put on like 3 worms on here. Okay, I'm not sure how that's gonna end up. Oh, look at this. This is, I mean, aside from the obvious tearing for you guys, which again I apologize about. I'll figure it out as soon as possible. Hey, what's up? Just coming through. Don't mind me. Oh, there's a boat? Can we use said boat? I think we should probably just... Oh, damn, there's a full of fish there as well. Let's bring it in a little bit so that we can see the weight, maybe. Although the sun's directly in our eyes. That's cool. Can't see the weight at all. Just leave it there for a little bit. Maybe something will let us know. So yeah, you know, it's one of those things where you fight it and you're like, yeah, I fought it. That fish is frozen, legitimately frozen. Oh, no, okay, that is terrible. Did the fish take my... No, the worms are still there, okay. Maybe I can catch a bird. Couldn't see the weight that entire time, so I don't know. And yeah, you know, it's one of those things. You fight and you fight and you fight, and every time it every time it hits you, it doesn't get better. And you get this, like, very, very often with anxiety, and something you need to look out for if you do have anxiety, these kind of things, is the fact that you start to feel very hopeless and kind of lost and kind of, like, very despondent. Very, very, very often people can get, I guess toxic is the best way to describe it. You know, you go from basically like, why did this happen to me, to why is everyone else so happy and fulfilled and they don't have to deal with the shit I do, you know. Like, thankfully, you know, for the most part, I'd say I've managed to avoid that. For myself, I don't tend to get, you know, angry with other people for these kind of things and everything. So I'm happy in that regard. But I have known, I have met, and I have experienced people who got very toxic. You know, they get angry with people, they blame people for their problems. You know, I don't know if you've ever experienced someone like that, but a good example is a drunk middle-aged person in a bar, you know, and they turn to you and start talking to you, and they're like, you don't know problems, you've lived you know, they know nothing about you, but they're going on about how you've lived an idyllic life, and they have problems, and you haven't experienced the world yet, all that kind of shit. That is toxic anxiety talk. You know, maybe not in all examples, but very, very regularly. That's someone with anxiety who's turned toxic. And they hate the world, they hate you, just for being you, and not for not being them, pretty much. So yeah, that's something to look out for. The second you find yourself, and like, this is something I'll kind of put my hand up to, is I've experienced this living with my parents. Like, there were things that were my fault or my problem, and I'd get angry or pissed off with my parents because they didn't understand. You know, a good example is I never really got that in depth with them about the things going through my head, about the anxiety problems, you know, the real dark, deep shit. You know, on the surface, you know, they can see that I'm getting fidgety, that I'm kind of like, you know, kind of half stripping off my top because my chest is feeling uncomfortable, you know, kind of like compressed and all this shit. But the other stuff, you know, the flash thoughts, the depression, the feeling of kind of hopelessness, the feeling of, you know, the constant feeling that you're going to die, all that stuff, I did very much tend to keep that to myself. And then, of course, you know, when my parents weren't aware of how bad it was and would come down on me for being kind of reclusive, for not going to find, you know, for not going out and looking for a job, and, you know, not getting better when I seemed better, or, you know, anything along those lines. You know, I'd be annoyed with them even though they didn't know about that stuff, because I hadn't told them, because, you know, many reasons, you know. Quite often I'd say to myself, you know, they don't deserve the amount of worry it would cause them to tell them all the shit that goes through your head. Okay, so here's a perfect example. And for those of you who watch this randomly, or just if you have anxiety, this is one of the worrying ones, is the violent flash thoughts. It's almost like an alien takes a shit in your brain, and the shit is just this ridiculous, random, very often violent thought. And most often it's aimed at you, at yourself. You know, you could be walking past a kitchen and you just have this, like, it's like a second of like random, that's why I call it a violent flash thought. You know, it's like what if I grabbed that knife and like plunged it into myself? And it's not, you don't think what if I grabbed that knife and plunged it into myself. It's more of an image, you know, it's just like a boom like that, and you just have this, and it freaks you the fuck out, which is good, you know, because obviously that'd be a ridiculous thing to do. But it is one of those things where it's your anxiety. But if you go up to someone who knows you and who worries about you, who loves you, and if you say to them, hey, so I've been having this thought and, you know, blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, no, that's anyone hearing that will be like, yeah, no, that's fucked up. And they'll worry about you and worry for you and this kind of thing. I remember once I was having a chat. This is fairly far into my anxiety days, you know. So I was used to it, and I'd helped a few people. I chatted with people, you know, like I'd kind of worked some of the shit out for myself. And I was chatting with this woman, kind of probably middle aged, like, you know. I think I'd been out to the pub with a few friends and then got chatting with this group of people, you know, who were friends of friends, who we all kind of knew each other. And I was talking about my anxiety to someone, and this woman, like, kind of picked up on it and was like, oh, hey, you know, I suffer from anxiety too. And, like, panic attacks and all of these things. And we started talking and, you know, just sharing experiences and all this kind of thing. And then we got onto the subject of flash thoughts, and I was like, yeah, you know, there's I suddenly realised I had my hand off the mouse and I wasn't moving at all. It's really quite relaxing just sitting here with the waves lapping and all that. I'm quite enjoying it. Here's a good example of my anxiety as well. I'm terrified that a shark's going to jump up at me. It makes no sense. Why would they have that in this game? But it's like in the back of my mind, and I'm getting like images of, you know, a great white shark like jumping out. It's making me a little uncomfortable. But you know, it's one of those things where you go, yep, okay, thanks for that. Well, let's just keep going. I think we'll, yeah. Oh, there's a fish? Didn't even realise there was a fish. Maybe we've got too many weights on it? Or the weight's not right? I guess? How do we take weights off? Just buy one? Buy two? And now the weights aren't equipped at all. Ah, here we go. How did I... Oh, there we go. Yeah. So let's try that. Are there... Maybe that's alright. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, so like that's a good example of anxiety being dumb as fuck. So I was chatting with this woman, and we got onto the subject of flash thoughts, and she was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, you know. I was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. And then I was like, isn't it weird though how you just have like these really fucked up flash thoughts, and the entire rest of the night took a total turn, where from there on she was haranguing me about how I was a violent psychopath. You know? Like, it's not like it's a common thing. Jesus fuck, are you kidding me? How am I supposed to tell when there's a frickin'... Am I just supposed to do it like here? can't really see it even from here. But okay, let's try it. Yeah, she was haranguing me. She was like, you're not gonna like randomly stab me, are you?" and like talking to her friends and being like, "This guy's crazy." And she was a little bit drunk, but still, I always remember that as just an example of someone who's like, "Yeah, I have problems too," and then just completely failing to empathize with the other person. You know, like, I don't think it really affected me like on a full-on, you know, but I think for a little while after that, I was hesitant to talk about that shit just purely because of that experience, you know, of someone, you know, of opening up and talking about something very kind of like disturbing for me and, you know, legitimately worrying, and then to have that person be like, "Ah, you freak," in effect, you know, I was very much like, wow, that's dickish at best. So yeah, there was that, and it sucked, but it's a good example, you know, of kind of the reason why people keep their anxiety stuff to themselves, because very often, you know, they're worried about the reaction. I mean, okay, here's a good example of something that I've been worried about in the past that makes virtual no sense, but because of the anxiety, it's kind of massively exacerbated. Is I have I have worries about calling up for a job interview, or like, you know, to kind of put my name out there. I have worries about just putting my name out there a lot of the time. Oh, here we go. We strike too fast. That might be a bit close, but that'll do. At least I can see the fish coming up to take the bait. So yeah, you know, and calling up to be like for like a job interview type thing, it caused me massive anxiety. Like, it really freaked me out, and to this day, I can't even really explain. You know, I don't know what exactly about it freaked me out. I don't know why I avoided it like so heartily. That fish is almost flying on the left there. Oh, here we go, here we go. You gonna take it, bud? Nope. Oh, he is. Maybe. Maybe. Really? Well, that's a little too close, really. I have no indication there, really, of when to, that's too far. I won't be able to see that. Oh no, maybe I will. Okay. Yeah, so, like, if anyone out there has any insight, like, maybe their own experiences, where you're like, yeah, I really didn't like that, you know, let me know, because I'm really interested as to why that was for me. Who knows? Maybe it's just another example of my brain being weird. But yeah, I used to like, I used to sit there and have the phone in my hand and the number, getting more and more like filling up with adrenaline and anxiety, and being like, oh god, I don't want to do this. You know, what if? There's no like there's no solid thought there where it was like, what if the guy calls me a twat and then shouts at me? Because I wouldn't have a problem with that. You know, I'd be like, okay, well, you know, that guy's clearly a dick, and that would be it. Is that fish coming up for the bait? No, he's going past. So there's no real, like, there's no stick. You know, you say like there's someone offers you the carrot or the stick. The carrot is, you know, getting a job. Like, if you do this, you might get a job, might be great, wonderful times, you know, live a happy life. There was no stick. You know, there was no there's no overarching thing that I was worried about happening. It was just the unknown. And that's very often the case. Oh, you little tease. Going around my bait being like, ooh, maybe I'll take it. Maybe I'll take it. Oh, 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 oh. No, well, he went past. Oh, 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 oh. No, he went past again. Double tease. Ooh, you bitch. So yeah, I've actually warmed up a little bit. You know, just doing this video and sitting here. Like, fuck knows, I might not even ever put this video out, to be fair. I have done videos in the past which have literally just been me really tired and not being able to do much of anything. You know, it's like 5 AM or some shit. Oh, there we go, there we go. And... You kidding me? That looked like a freaking eel or something as well. It's probably not far enough. Nah, it'll do. So yeah, you know, I have done videos in the past, and I'm just like, you know, I don't have a particular reason not to put them out. Quite often they're videos where I'm talking about my anxiety or, you know, issues or problems I've had and that kind of thing. And very often I'll just go like, I could put this out, but I don't know. You know, I'm sometimes I worry about the videos I put out on my channel. Sometimes I'm just like, no one would enjoy this. You know, there's no reason to put this out. You know, I can't see the appeal, so I'll just be like, nah, I won't put it out. Let's I could probably go on for ages about this, but I don't want a video with like very clear frame rate problems going on forever and ever. I feel bad enough about the frame rate problems as it is. I imagine a fair number of people clicked on it, went, oh god, that frame rate, and it's impossible to watch, and then just clicked out. Honestly, at best, I imagine most people, if you guys are still here and still listening and everything, I imagine you've got this on audio only, as in you're playing it, but you ain't watching it. You're chilling and okay, here we go. Yeah. Yeah. God fucking balls. Should we just try a let's go for a tiny itty bit longer. There we go. Let's try a, what do we got here? Rainbow trout, Dorado. Yeah, that sounds like good good stuff. And then we don't need anything else on it. Okay. Alright. Here we go. So yeah, I think, you know, I don't really have a problem, you know, kind of running my mouth and complaining about life, the universe, and everything so much. You know, like putting my problems out there, and you know, at worst for me, I feel I feel a little bit kind of self-conscious maybe about it, but not very. Yeah, not I don't feel that self-conscious about it, not anymore. And honestly, if me talking about it helps other people, you know, talking about my experiences and, you know, the shit I go through, if that makes it easier for some people to do their own thing, like get, you know, if they're like, oh, I have this same problem, and, you know, then feel better about it, then as far as I'm concerned, great. That's, you know, having been through it myself, I can feel the pain, as it were. So yeah. I hope if anyone's watching with anxiety, this helps at all. You know, like being able to be like, wow, I have flash thoughts, and they're disturbing as fuck. You know, if you have that, and it's a worry for you, and now it's less of a worry, that's awesome, and I'm glad. Oh crap! This guy's a fighter. Yep. No, we're not doing that. No. What? I don't know how to play a fish, or to loosen its stamina or anything like that. That motherfucker just escaped hard. I know, maybe it's the game just being, you know, not liking to be recorded by OBS. Maybe I've been having... I did have an instance of OBS full-on crashing. And, like, you know, just refusing to record and then just crashing with Hand of Fate 2. So, it could be something to do with that. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. But yeah, like, for my kind of final thoughts, I guess this turned into an anxiety video, you know, talking about anxiety and my experiences and that kind of thing. I'd say, my tips for dealing with anxiety, I can't really say face it, you know, face your panic attack. Like, I've heard of people saying, like, force yourself to have a panic attack. It's a very difficult thing, especially to a veteran. Like, oh, I'm a veteran, yeah, you know, but I am. I've had this for over 10 years now, and I've been dealing with it for over 10 years. And it's pretty acute. I mean, I can't judge how bad something is compared to how other people are. But from what I've been told, my case is fairly acute, fairly rough, etc., etc. And I can say, like, as time goes on, you train yourself so heavily to avoid anything that causes you anxiety. You know, almost like a Pavlovian response. If something causes you anxiety, you avoid it because you're trying to get through day to day. And, you know, as time goes on, you find yourself avoiding things because they caused you anxiety. And, you know, it's very hard to force yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to cause myself anxiety and have a panic attack, you know, like steering into the skid kind of thing, really, is like you're already skidding, and now you're like, oh, and also just like keep going, you know, make things worse for yourself kind of thing. It's difficult to do, I must say. Sorry, talking about sitting weird, I've been sitting a little bit weird, and now my my side's being a bit achy. One thing I've been considering doing is recording myself having a panic attack and talking through it. I just don't think I can do that because it requires you to sit still, and during a panic attack it is just like move, restless, you know, shaking, clammy, sweaty, panicking, you know, wanting to escape without being able to, kind of all that shit. So I'm not sure it's really something that can be captured, really. Maybe it can. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I get that feeling. Like it'd be something interesting, I think, for people. I'm just not sure I can really go through it. But anyway, my tips for dealing with it: avoidance. Avoidance is always a way of dealing with it. It's not a fix. It's just a way to deal with it, and it's the same with all of my techniques, all of the things I've learnt. You know, what's it called? Rescue Remedy. There's a product called Rescue Remedy. It's kind of a bottle in drop form. Just a couple of drops on the tongue can center you and kind of help you find like an anchor so that you don't spiral out of from an fucking, you kidding me? Okay, we're doing this. That actually gave me a shock. Man, he is... Oh god. He is going away. He is leaving town. He's not coming back. Come on. Okay, going over this way. Going over this way. Come on, come back. Come back. Come back. Come by. Come by. There we go. Woof. That's right at the end there. Really, it actually gave me a shock. Like, it spiked... This is the thing, is... Any shock like that can really spike your anxiety. And lead to... It can lead to a panic attack, you know? So, just like a little shock like that can set you on the course. It's bizarre as all hell. No idea how it works. Come on. Come on. There we go. What is that, a fucking pike? So yeah, rescue remedy, something like olives, like something with a sharp kind of tangy taste can also help. Very often things like that are really good for that kind of thing. I have a net, don't I? How do I net? Okay, we're gonna say that we caught him because I don't know how to use the net, but or we'll say that we let him go for making the end of my YouTube video like very exciting. So yeah, these kind of things can really massively help. And if in doubt, and it's not something I'd recommend all the time. It's more of like a let's just chuck the line out there for the end. You know, we can sit here fishing peacefully. We're not gonna try and catch a fish or reel it in or anything. We're just gonna sit here. One of the things that can be really helpful, I found, is food. So if you're feeling very anxious, if you're feeling really like, if you're just feeling that bubbling underlying anxiety, very often, all you need to do is just have a little something to eat, like some crackers or something like that. A little bit of water and crackers, or you know, like a biscuit or something like that. Just kind of a little. Not only does it kind of help in terms of like, you know, you're not hungry anymore, and that kind of thing. And obviously you don't want to form it into a habit every time you feel anxious. You know, having some food that's gonna be bad and down the road. But yeah, a little bit of food. It can help you regulate your breathing. And can really help you out. And I hate to advocate this because, you know, obviously if people are like, you can't say that to people, you know, like you know, kids watch this, maybe, who knows, probably not actually. They're off watching entertaining YouTubers who are all excited and like screaming at stuff. But yeah, the other thing that really works is masturbation, or sex, technically speaking, either one really. Giving yourself a single-minded task to devote yourself to, anything to kind of like focus your mind, anything that you can kind of completely get your head into is great. But another reason is, not only does the end of that kind of, you get the endorphins and, you know, it kind of, it chills you out a little bit, it helps regulate your breathing. And very often the actual panic attack of anxiety, is all about regulating your breathing because you're taking in too much oxygen and it's making you a little high. It's you know, obviously you're hyperventilating, all that kind of thing. And it's a bit of a what's it called, vicious circle. You know, one makes the other worse. So, you know, you start feeling panicky, you start breathing more, and, you know, because you don't feel like you're breathing enough, you feel like you're, you know, you're choking or whatever, you start, like, taking massive gulps of air, and then that kind of makes you a little bit high, and, you know, you start hyperventilating more because you feel like you're not getting any oxygen, and it leads to it leads to, you know, that kind of thing. And regulating your breathing, that's what, again, why eating helps. So yeah, those are my tips to help. Very end thoughts of the video. A few things that might help you on a short-term basis. You know, don't let any of them form into habits. But yeah, they could all definitely help. So let's fuck it. An hour and a half fishing video where I ramble about anxiety. Who the fuck's gonna watch this? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If indeed I did put this video out and you did indeed watch it. I hope this was. Wait, did I? Oh no. There's been a bug, I think. There's fish in the trees. Oh. There's fish on... right there. It's kind of a cool game. Swordfish? Don't believe swordfish are in it, but... okay. Yeah, so thanks for watching the video, and I hope... if you have anxiety, I hope this helped a little bit. If you don't have anxiety, I'm glad. Like, it's not fun. Just remember, when all else fails, you can fish, I guess. It's not really the... I'm shit at being profound. Fuck it. I've just done an hour and a half of laying my shit out there. If you want to support me, go over to the Patreon. Link will be in the description, guys. You can give as much or as little as £1. And yeah, you'll be in the credits of all my videos. You'll see it at the end here. I'm working on a few other things. Currently, it's mostly if you want to support my channel and what I do. It's massively appreciated. Like, the one thing I'll say is, you know, if you're sitting there worried, like, I can only give £1 and that's not really worth it, it's all good and it's all worth it. Like, not only does every little helps, that's Tesco. Not only does every little help, but it's heartening every single time. Every single time I'm feeling a bit down about my videos and about my channel, just seeing those people who care enough to be like, yes, I'll give you $1 a month. I'm like, it helps me keep going. It does. So thanks for watching, guys. You know, thanks for hopefully putting up with me doing a little bit of shilling at the end there. And yeah, we'll be back to regular other videos. I'm sure there'll be other videos on the day this is released, where you see probably Factorio with Peachy and Bentham, and we're still going with the Shadow of War, which is super fun. And there are still quite a lot of episodes. I think there's about 2 weeks worth of episodes left, so you can enjoy that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.